Boom, we are alive, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin's price, as I'm sure a lot of you are interested in what's going to be happening, or at least what we think is going to be happening. But before we do that, I want to take a little quick walk outside and go over an idea that we've talked about frequently: the difference between price and value. Price fluctuates frequently. It's basically based off the whims of the buying and selling of the interested parties who hold that particular asset. Once that asset is held by strong hands and the majority of the supply is chewed up by those who have long-term visions, the price usually starts to rise. And as the price starts to rise, those big players usually distribute those shares to the rest of the common stock and folk people who are usually late to the bull market. We are in the middle of the bull market now. One of the most difficult parts about this is ascertaining the value between price and the fundamental aspect of what makes something so uniquely valuable. One of the reasons why we've been so bullish on the Metaverse sector is because for a long time everyone thought that Bitcoin was needing an ETF or the on-ramps or these rails for institutional investors so that everyone could partake in the growth of Bitcoin. And fundamentally that's happened already, and we haven't seen the adoption that we're looking for. The reason being is because this is not any way to on-ramp the other 2 billion people who do not have access to financial services. Now, what does that? Well, what I've noticed is it's the metaverse. It's the play to earn, post to earn, learn to earn, share to earn, where to earn, whatever is coming next out of your ability to participate within the digital global landscape and be rewarded for doing so. The reason why Facebook, Instagram, all these monolithic companies are worth so much is because you have built up their value and gotten a zip back for it. That means the fundamental value of Facebook is that we all use it, yet you get nothing. You get told what to do, you get censored, community guidelines, standard bullshit, right? So now the participation and network effect of the growth is being rewarded to the users who show up early. It's one of the reasons why I've been most excited about the Metaverse sector is because there are 2 to 3 billion people who do not have access to regular financial services, and creating ETFs and bigger on-ramps isn't going to do jack shit for them. So what can we do? Well, in the Metaverse, you can actually play to earn, post to earn, learn to earn. You can partake and earn yourself digital assets by doing these simple tasks. And it's one of the most fundamentally exciting parts about this space that has happened since I've been here. Now, that's not to get down on the Byzantine general problems and all the cool mathematical cryptographic stuff that we figured out in the process of getting here, but it did nothing for the underserved people of this community. The Metaverse sector, though, I have seen has changed that. Now, back in 2017, I was a big fan of Steam because I thought Steam would be one of these on-ramps to that potential, where it looked like if people are regularly posting and earning $10, $20, $30 a day, which is more than the average wage in countries like Venezuela or Philippines, this is the perfect opportunity for them to partake in this ecosystem without needing a traditional bank account, traditional finances, or an on-ramp of any kind. That to me has been and will remain to be the most important aspect of this entire sector. Which brings us to today. Well, what's the price of Bitcoin at? Well, it's technically irrelevant, but we're at an important part of the psychological experience right now. Now, let's for a moment go inside. We're going to take a look at the charts here. And we're going to talk about this adjustment between price and value, because the value of these things has not changed effectively. So we've been watching, look at a much nicer, cleaner screen today, not my travel computer. Here's our spring. We saw for SOS, LPS, SOS, and LPS. All right, so a lot of people, the idea here to think is, okay, well, this is a double top and we're seeing distribution. So we had called for around $48,000 Bitcoin. And when I say call, I mean the market gave us clear signals that we were probably going to come down to fill this gap in the VPVR on this side. A lot of people were very bullish, like, oh, look, it's a falling wedge. They're all falling wedges. Everything's a falling wedge. Well, it's totally irrelevant. What we're witnessing is a much larger strategic pattern here. Looking at these small patterns probably leads to other small things, I guess. But the point here is this area, which we are in right now, is crucial. We need to close back above $56,000 to continue the rest of this market cycle. Now, if we don't, we're going to come back down lower. Now, everyone's probably like, oh my God, it's so worrying, like the market cycle is over. You know, we could come to, $9,000 Bitcoin is where the previous, our previous like large volumes of sell and buy has taken place. How do we deal with all of this insignificant change in the price? Well, you basically ignore it. Over the long term, the fundamentals of Bitcoin have never once changed. The exciting part now is, though, you have the way to onboard billions of users into a digital economic system that is not controlled or governed by any particular state. It is controlled and governed by technology. Now, there's a whole convoluted dystopian conversation we could get into about government and technology that I'm just not going to assert myself into at this moment because I do not have the mind space to do so. One of the reasons why I'm stoked about the video game sector, I guess, at large, is because it makes it quite easy to participate. You don't need a background in finance or a degree in economics to understand that people are going to continue to play video games almost regardless of whatever is going on. And as a matter of fact, during economic hardship and times of turmoil, people spend a lot of time doing things like playing video games, drinking alcohol. Actually, alcohol is a really long-lived sector because of that underlying value. Now, I don't say that's fundamental, but it's a truth. Nonetheless, humans are a weird species. We are a very weird species. Did you know that? So, what does it bring us to today? A good investor knows simple strategies. I want to tip my hat to Michael Saylor because he has always shown what you should be doing as a good investor, which is accumulating assets that over the next 5 to 10 years, the fundamental value will increase in levels which are generally almost impossible to reach by any business structure that you are creating. So just continually investing is the right way to go. And everyone's like, oh, well, should I take profits? You know, if you've reached a new level of wealth that you've never had before, you know, we've had members who have made their first few $100,000 or the first few $1 million. And when you see your account fluctuate by 6 or 7 figures, it's a really emotionally draining ride. One of the best things to do is just take out your principal capital. We're in the middle of the market and we're literally in the direction of either way. It could go to $100,000 just as easy as it could go back down to 30. And that's basically a 50-50 split of difference. There's like an equal RR ratio. Now, what's interesting though is Bitcoin is still undervalued compared to its general 11-year trends. So what does that mean? Oh, sorry, 10, maybe not 11, 10-year trends. I don't know why I just like the number 11, excuse me. That was a very obtuse use of numbers. 10-year trend line is undervalued, which means that over the next few years, seeing Bitcoin at $200,000, $300,000 is a really easy sentiment to come around to. So what are you going to do today that makes the next 5 or 10 years the easiest? Just consistently invest. Now, this is not financial advice, but if you go out, if you do your homework and you understand those people that are ultimately the most successful, and at least in my terms, success is not just about money. There's lots of people that have a lot of money that are just total dicks. A lot of good that does you when you're an ass. So what do you want out of life? What makes you wealthy? What are the things that you truly desire out of this existence that you get on this beautiful planet? These are important questions that are not always monetary questions, right? What I like about this sector is it allows me the time to research. It allows me the time to meditate, to do yoga, and to share my time with my family and community, because making an investment is the easy part. You invest. The hard part is to walk away. One of our favorite quotes here is to buy right and sit tight. And this is often what people get wrong. They may have made an awesome investment in Bitcoin at $200 and they sold it at $1,000 to take profits, never got back in, missed the run to 20,000, bought in at 3, sold at 7 because it came back down to 4, and now they're still out of the market. If you are right, buying right and sitting tight is the best way to become a good investor and basically do whatever you want with your time. Some people like to measure that in, I made multi-millions of dollars. That doesn't change how I meditate, doesn't change how I interact with people, doesn't change how I feel about my family or how they feel about me, although I definitely know my mom likes when I send her money out of nowhere. She's been happy about it every time since, but those are unimportant. The important things here are that you're enjoying yourself, you're ultimately happy with your life, and you're enjoying the process. The process of a good investor is quite simple. Research and invest, and can wait and be patient. The hardest thing to do is to be right and to be patient. Anyways, the Tier of the Arcane Bear, I just wanted to share outside with you guys a little bit today because it's so fucking beautiful out right now. Anyways, we'll be on a podcast later today with George Schrapp from Step Finance. We've got a few other great podcasts and ideas coming your guys' way as well. So we're super excited to bring those to you. Give us a thumbs up if you like the outside videos, which a lot of you say you do. So I'm doing that a bit more. Comments, questions, all that stuff. Share the videos. Tell everyone you know you love them. And be grateful for what you have. Makes every day a little bit better. It's hard sometimes, I know, right? It's so easy to be like, oh no, but this could have been this, and if I'd done this, it would be this. And stop. Give yourself the time to be okay with any of the mistakes you've made along the way, and take this moment as the moment to correct those mistakes and do it right the next time. Deal with the arcane bear.